Once, some time ago, my dear friend Professor Elemental took me for a stroll in the countryside. As the sun was setting, I suddenly realised that he had disappeared and I was left alone. This is the story of what happened after that awful moment of realisation. Owl Club. One fateful night I found myself in awful dire straits. I'd been out for a walk and hadn't noticed it get late. The wilds of Suffolk's Badlands were the place I'd wandered to, and as I looked around I heard a soft to-it-to-woo. The wind was gusting through the branches of skeletal trees. The whistling noise it made put me entirely off my ease. I heard assorted rustlings coming from the undergrowth. I sensed malignant presences. I stuttered out an oath. The moon rose huge through mist, and in its ethereal light I glimpsed the flitting shadow of some creature of the night. Another, and another, shadows too quick to define. I felt in awful peril with my life now on the line. A thump, a crash, the snapping of a branch just over there. My heart leapt to my mouth, I held my breath, could only stare. As from the darkness hurtled straight towards me with a scowl, a sweating fat man, dressed up to look vaguely like an owl. He tried to speak, but there was something struggling in his jaws. He sputtered, and out leapt a mouse, though missing its back paws. The little creature struggled in the undergrowth as he wiped mouse poo off his chin and spat its little feet at me. He sucked in breath, leaned back his head, and bellowed out his rage. Squaw, 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 squaw! It seemed to go on for an age. I didn't budge, I stood my ground against my owly foe, and when he realised this, his respect began to grow. Eventually, after he'd been shouting for some hours, he took my hand and led me off towards some distant towers. A ruined castle was the place he led me swiftly to, and when we passed the drawbridge my amazement grew and grew, for in the courtyard of this ancient crumbling edifice were row on row of men with costumes similar to his. They stood majestically in the misty moonlit night, with homemade owl suits on that didn't fit exactly right. These men in shoddy owl suits came towards me as a group. They didn't say a word, though some let out a quiet hoot. Their leader took my shoulders and pushed me down to my knees. He pulled a tatty owl suit out, and out fell some dead bees. He thrust this owly outfit on my near-prostrated form. I rose to find myself transformed. I felt complete and warm. The gathered horde all cheered and welcomed me into the flock. I swallowed several voles, a field mouse, and an otter's parts. Now every night I join this secret group of hardened men who roam the night dressed up as owls, searching for rodents, then meet up to show off his catch and eat his wriggling prize, then puke it up again and go home shedding his disguise. These noblemen, these bravest men, these men of grit and owls, these heavy men, these sweaty men, these men with sagging jowls, these men without a girlfriend or a jot of self-respect, these men who fail to adequately wash off all their sweat. We flit like ghostly shadows through the Suffolk wilderness, and no one knows we lurk there chewing mice in owly dress. We chant the 1,000 rules of Owl Club while our heads we rub, and every one of those rules is, feel free to talk about Owl Club.